Where do you get your crazy ideas? Innocence by Joanna Russ. I must be the last one in the world because nobody else understands. Siegfried, for instance, well, his name was something like that. He had learned nothing but facts from his cradle, and that made him very proud. He was a big, fair man, and he drove us all from here to there among the stars. I was a passenger, that's all, and dark as a mole, but he was polite and made nothing of it. He took me into the engineering room and showed me the instrument panel glowing against the gray walls and the great catalogs and the portholes for watching the stars. He told me how innocent I was and how I ought not to be let out alone. That's not fair. I'm just not interested, that's all. What do you know? He said, and when I said I knew some stories, he laughed. He laughed loudly, throwing his head back so that the lamplight fell on his hair. I lowered my head and laughed modestly. Do you? He said. Then you must tell them to me. So I told him about the beautiful white city whose name I had forgotten. It has grassy hills around central fountains where jets of water shine like crystal into the sky. People come out of the hills every year in gold and red processions to drive swallows into the city. It was just a story for diversion, but he listened carefully, and then he said, Did you get that out of a book? I shook my head. Then you must have been there. No, of course not, I said. He came back again to hear more. Then he said, It must be in the past. I've never seen a place like that, and I've been all over the galaxy, you know. It can't be more than a few thousand years back. It still exists, I said, but it's very old. It's 10 billion years old. I know. That's impossible, he said sharply, but he wouldn't explain why. He said I probably wouldn't understand. That was the second time. The third time he came with a new idea. You must simply have forgotten where it is, he said firmly. You haven't any head for facts. Now try to remember. But of course I couldn't, and he had to content himself with everything about the city but where it was and its name. It must be hidden somewhere, he muttered angrily, kicking at the artificial fire. Some out-of-the-way place, obviously primitive. You ought to remember. It was only a game. I told him they had real fires there, yellow flames that they used for beauty, to look transparent against stone. He became annoyed. He wandered around the room calling me fool, fool. Had I no memory for facts? Well, that was all he knew. Then he would wheel about and fire questions at me about statistics and population and such things. What work do they do? He said. Why, none, I said. None, of course, except goldsmithing and magic and so forth. I only meant it to be amusing. I want to go there, he said. You must have seen pictures of it. I've never been in a place like that. I'd like to visit there. Soon he accused me. You know where it is, he said, and you're hiding it. You must think I would bring other people in and spoil it, but I won't. I know better than that. You've got to tell me where it is. I can't rest until I go there. I could buy a ship, a small one. It's not that expensive, you know, and go there. I could. It's so different from other places, you know. I want to stay there for the rest of my life. I don't know why, but I think I could stay there. Oh, come, I said. He was staring embarrassedly at the ceiling. You know, he said in a low voice, I think I might not die there. See, that's how I feel. That's what you've done. It isn't anywhere, I said. I made it up out of my head, every bit of it. It doesn't even exist. You've forgotten, he said, because you're a fool. But I'm going to get a ship and travel around and back and forth until I find it. I'm no fool. I'm going to find it. Then he went steadily out of the room. He did that, too. The stupid hero is out there now, between Antares and Deneb or somewhere. Nobody has any sense. I must be the last one, because nobody but me understands. Innocents. The universe is full of them.